Hello, race fans. Welcome to another episode of Short Track Guys Podcast, brought to you in part by Story Bleich Roofing. We've got you covered. Metal, slate, tile, and asphalt, shingle, we're locals you can trust. Story Bleich Roofing right here in Pensacola, Florida. Give them a call. I'm your host, Thomas Battis, alongside two of the same Short Track guys in the studio as always. Jim Pokrant, driver of the 07 Sportsman right here locally in Pensacola, Florida at Five Flag Speedway, and Ted Baber, the Ted Baber Video Productions. What's up, guys?
Greetings. How y'all doing today?
Well, we've kind of calmed down here a little bit now that we've gone on. We went off on a tangent there for a little bit and got a few laughs out, but and we might continue that throughout this episode.
Yeah, I'm the rails tonight.
Yeah, we run into some Florida weather. It's raining. It's cold. We haven't had a lot of activity. We did
one of the activities has been postponed, so we'll get to that.
Postponed. Yep. And a big one that we did bring up last week, the Tulsa Shootout at the SageNet Center in Tulsa, Oklahoma. We've got some results coming up there in just a little bit. We do have a solemn announcement that everybody is aware of now that we just want to go over again. We throw some stories and maybe some history out on Mr. Cale Yarborough. His passing this past week. Very saddened by our NASCAR racing community. We will get more in that. We've got some stories and some history attached with that a little bit later in the show.
One of the icons, no doubt.
Yep.
One of my heroes, definitely.
So, well, we can really start out, I guess, with the postponement there. And New Smyrna coming up was going to be this weekend, but what happened?
Rain, Florida.
Yeah.
Florida
Rain,
happened. That's what happened. That's all there is to it. Florida happened. You know.
So the Red Eye 50/50 has been moved to February the 3rd. It's going to be a one-day show, just like it was supposed to be. Right. So everybody hang on for that one. There's going to be some pro lates, super lates, sportsmen, bomber Bs, and there was one other class, trucks, I believe, are running. So going to be an interesting night. So save your schedule.
Yes.
February the 3rd.
It'll be fun.
The Red Eye 50/50. That's we went down. Me and Ted when we last year we ran the Red Eye. They're not running super stock this year, so I can't get to race down there. Dadgummit.
I really wanted to see that one again. That was and last a little bit longer this time.
Yeah, well,
had misfortunes.
Yeah, but that's okay. We're going back. I may go down and run the last of the speed weeks. That Friday nights when they're running super stocks and run 25 laps, I might go down and run that race. You never know about me.
Load it up. Get her done.
That will be the World Series of Asphalt Stock Car Racing there in New Smyrna in February. That's a 9-night deal. That's going to be a big deal for us, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Heck yeah, because all the best of the best goes to that thing.
Well, while we're in Central Florida, down in New Smyrna is actually up in the Daytona area, but in Central Florida at Auburndale Raceway, they had a big super late model, Sunoco Race Fuel super late model race there on the 31st of December. I think we passed it up. It might have not happened, I guess last Wednesday in that episode, but there's a familiar name that came away with the win on top of that one.
Yeah, that was fun to watch. I mean, it would have been nice to see that happen up here, but our good buddy Cody Stickler took that one.
The modified ace, yes. The dude that started dead last at the Snowball Derby modified race, drove through everybody, and before halfway was leading and disappeared into the sunset with an extra $2,000 for starting in the rear. So that man's now getting in the late models, so they better watch out.
Yeah, he accepted the challenge and came out on top.
Got it done.
Yeah, didn't he win the Modified Mayhem Championship?
Oh, I don't know if he won the championship, but he won every race at Five Flags. I can tell you that.
Okay. Yeah, but Cody Stickler, that 46 car, is on the side of the modified, and it was on the side of his super late model with TJ DeCare, Steve Dorr, and Chase Lovelady, and Patrick Storopoli finish out the top 5. And Brian Dorr looks like 6th place here. I believe that's probably a family relation to Steve Dorr. They're all South Florida hot shoes down there at Auburndale. They run New Smyrna. They run a bunch of other, it's Citrus County. Well, Citrus County's a dirt track, isn't it?
No, Citrus County's asphalt.
Is it? Okay.
Yes, it's closed, though. It's the one that they've closed it up because now it's probably going to be a housing project.
Oh, boy.
That's fine.
And at least now at the Freedom Factory, they're running more races instead of just Cleus McFarland stuff, so that's a good deal there. Ricky Brooks and them will be there several times this year with the SRL series, so that's going to be pretty good.
Yeah, and that schedule has come out too. We can't wait to get over that with Ricky Brooks. He's done a lot of good things with that SRL series.
Yes. Absolutely. And that's the Rattler this year is is an SRL race, which ended up being one of the best late model races of 2023. So it looks to be the same for this year. So we look forward to that race too.
And Ricky runs a tight ship too. He gets things done. He gets everybody.
Oh
in
yeah,
line.
like in Mobile when they ran the SRL last year, and Bubba won that one also. But they had fog was coming in. They got it done, and then they had rain, and they redid the schedule and with haste, put it out for everybody to see it, and had everything done at a decent hour. Yeah. I was really surprised how well they got things done. I mean, Ricky Brooks is doing a heck of a job. We got to give him props, 100%.
Well, first off, he has the respect of pretty much all the drivers in that series and everywhere else for that matter, because they know he don't take no crap.
Nope, he does not put up with any BS. Ricky Brooks is like Gary Ballou said, he's the best inspector I've ever seen. He's better than DEA drug dogs, and Gary Ballou would know about that.
Yeah, he's a little familiar with what happens when you run on the far side of that line.
Yep, he stepped over it twice.
Yeah.
Dude's still one of my heroes, though.
Oh, yeah. Well,
hot shoe Ballou.
Mm-hmm. A lot of activity in Florida. Right now, even with the rain and the weather like it is, it's kind of unusual. I guess this time of year we don't see a whole lot of rain, but when it does, it just seems to just dump on you.
No, of course. And speaking of races coming up, at Southern Raceway, the Battle of the Beach, which will be at Southern and at Baker, Kenny Wallace is coming.
Ooh, nice.
I've heard that Ken Schrader's going to be here. And there's another modified guy, I can't think of his name, that's going to show up. And when we get more information on that, we'll let you know about it. That will be a good one to see, because Kenny Wallace, if anybody listens to his podcast, he is a knucklehead.
Yes, he is.
Great guy, knucklehead. No. So, just letting y'all know that's going to be a good deal for us locally. Get to meet him, get his autograph, talk to him. That'd be pretty awesome.
Yeah, Kenny Wallace. If you're listening, you're a knucklehead.
That's right. A good knucklehead.
But we love you. We love you.
Oh, yeah, we love you.
Oh, hell yeah. Ken Schrader, too, man. I love Ken Schrader.
Mm-hmm. And they can both get it done behind the wheel, too, so that'll be fun to watch.
Oh, yeah. I forget who it was that told him he was going to beat. Ken Schrader showed up. Brian Fowler said, old man better eat his Wheaties. And Ken Schrader said, I ate 3 boxes. And he whooped his butt twice. So, yeah. Don't be talking about that old man. He still get it done.
Oh, man. Well, watch what you wish for.
You get it. Mm-hmm. But,
Auburndale. Southern Raceway, we have one coming up in Montgomery. I hear with the Crown Vics going to run a feature here early this year.
Going to qualify, run heats this Saturday. They're going to qualify, run heat races, and there's going to be a bus race. So you hang on to your hat, folks. It's free in the grandstands to go to Montgomery. They're also going to have all-day practice for their local divisions. So, I mean, you'll get to, if you go over there, you'll get to see, all the local divisions practice and then watch the Crown Stocks for the first time at Montgomery Motor Speedway.
Now, take advantage of that free admission into the stands and watch some good racing.
Yeah, but make sure you buy some popcorn or a soda or something. Give a little something back to Stan. Stan Harrison does a great job at Montgomery, and he's been keeping that place rolling pretty hefty, and he's also part of the Modifieds of Mayhem and everything else there, and help Stan out. Come out to Montgomery Motor Speedway this Saturday night, buy a hot dog, buy a hamburger, enjoy the races, and you'll see a good show with the Crown Stocks. I guarantee you it's going to be a good one.
Yeah. They always put on a good show wherever they are.
Yeah,
leave your books at home because these buses aren't going to school.
No, and you can't ride on them. It's just the driver. It's just, you see the short bus race. That's the one I want to see. The regular buses are rough, but you imagine a short bus race? Oh my goodness.
They'll wind up on their side if you're not careful.
Driver licking the window as he drives around with his helmet on. Yeah, so, anyway.
Well, one of the big ones we have results to is the Tulsa Shootout at the Sage Center out in Tulsa, Oklahoma. We went over it last Wednesday. We do have the results, and just for those that don't know what the Tulsa Shootout is all about, it is an annual micro sprint event with 6 divisions, the junior sprints, restricted A class, winged A class, the stock, non-wing outlaw, and the winged outlaw. So each division winner receives that coveted Golden Driller Trophy, the same trophy that's given to the winner in the prestigious Chili Bowl Nationals 2 weeks later, which we're going to get into here Probably next week. We're looking for entries coming in as we speak, but we've got some results with this Tulsa shootout. And man, it was a week-long deal.
Yeah, it was.
Alphabet soup is what we call it.
Yeah, something like that. There are so many, since there are so many, we're not going to spend too much time on each individual race, but we'll give you like the top 5. In the Winged Outlaws, it was Emerson Axum, Jake, oh boy, this one should be fun. Hagopian, I hope I'm getting that somewhere in the neighborhood. I could be completely wrong about that. Joe B. Miller, Cody Key, and Thomas Kuntzman Jr. That in the Winged Outlaw, there were a total of 24 entries. Could you imagine that many of those on that that little tiny track? A-Class Wing was Ashton Torgerson, Dawson Pursley, Frank Flood, and Alec Quiggle and Colton Hardy. And again, you're talking about a blue dozen cars in each race, literally 2 dozen, which is just amazing to me. The non-wing outlaw, the results top 5 anyway: Blake Hahn, Brody Graham, Thomas Kunzman Jr. again with Joby Miller and Cannon McIntosh in the top 5. And the stock non-wing would be Frank Flood. These names keep repeating, but these guys get into multiple classes. Chase Spicola, Chris Carroll, Dason Pursley, and Jace Park in the top 5 in that particular event. Restricted A class, this is a restrictor plate class, and that's winner was Wyatt Miller, Nathan Ward, Jet Nunley, Bradley Cox, and Carson Bolton. And we carry on. This is just a ridiculous number of classes here, but they're out there having fun. Junior sprints was Braxton Flatt. You'll hear that name again, I'm sure. J.J. Beeson, Eli Holden, Landon Miner, and Jackson Peters. And I believe, thank God, that's the end of the classes that we're aware of, and I believe that was the entirety of the event.
Yep, that was 6 classes, and we'll go back to that restricted A class with that Wyatt Miller and that 73M. He is the son of Kelly Miller, which is Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s sister. So that is Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s nephew that comes away with that golden driller, and that was a big deal for him, and that whole celebration with the team. And I think the old Earnhardt family is really, really excited about all that.
I would imagine.
Yeah,
the future.
Their daughter Carson raced some too, but I think she's getting out of it. But Carson Miller. But yeah, that Earnhardt family, there's legacy still going. They've still got several left. You got Carrie Earnhardt that has children that they're probably going to get involved eventually. So you never know, man. There maybe, and you got Jeffrey Earnhardt that's still out there racing. So name's still around.
Will be for a while.
Yeah, I think so. I think this Dale Sr. was pretty popular, I would think.
Yes.
Just a little bit.
And the Tulsa shootout at the SageNet Center, Tulsa, Oklahoma. It's a quarter-mile clay oval inside, and we went over that square footage of that building, and it is massive.
It's huge.
It's big.
Yeah, the pit walk was like an 8-minute video, if you can imagine that, going from one end to the other. And I don't know if he made it one end to the other, but it was an 8-minute video, and there were cars everywhere.
Well, they're rather small, so you can pack a whole lot of them in there. But the cars may be small, but the action wasn't. We watched some of the highlights, and good Lord, they tore some cars up, bouncing here and there and everywhere.
Yeah, it was 1,609 entries in those 6 divisions. That's 73 more entries than last year's event. So that was a pretty big deal.
Wow, that's crazy. Well, I mean, We got a lot going on with short track racing coming up. There's going to be a lot coming up the next month. And then as soon as February hits, it's wide open all the way through because we've got March, we got the Rattler coming up, we got all kinds of, like I said, down speed weeks, all that stuff's coming. And it's just going to get bigger and bigger. And before we know it, we'll be talking about the Snowball Derby again.
Yeah, that's not that far distant in the future. Believe it or else, it's not that far away. It's a little bit crazy.
No, we'll have some guests this year. I'm looking forward to doing some interviews with some folks and enjoying 2024. It's going to be a great year on the podcast, and hopefully we can do some video before the end of the year. And
yes,
you can, like I said, see our ugly mugs.
Do they have to suffer through that? I'm just asking.
They might have to.
Yes.
Sorry, guys. Okay.
Yes, they will have to suffer.
That's right. But while I'm thinking about it, I just want to ask for some thoughts and prayers for a couple of racing friends of ours that are down and out right now. Billy Hoover and Marcus Reno Story. He's been down, and also Mike Williamson. A lot of y'all know him from around here building race cars. He built a lot of race cars for a lot of people. He built one for me years ago. Great guy, and he's down needing a liver transplant. So they all need your thoughts and prayers, and pray for him because they need it. And get them all healed back up so they can come back to the racetrack.
That's keep
so,
them in your thoughts and prayers, and keep them in your mind, and let's hope for the best.
Yeah, well, we need some racers, and there's 3 of them that are, so
local guys that are very large in this area.
It's a tight family. It's all about racing and the camaraderie back and forth. Yes, competition is one thing, but when it comes down to it, it's one big huge family. Whether you're a fan or a racer, it's all connected together.
Well, that's like when Tina Davidson's husband found out he had cancer. The week before, me and him cussed one another. I mean, literally stood toe to toe and told each other what we thought of one another, and found out he had cancer the next week. And I walked in, he was sitting in the trailer, and I sat down next to him and threw my arm around him. I said, "Hey, man, just let you know I'm praying for you, and that we're a racing family. We might hate each other one day, but man, when we're sick or something happens, we're all work together." And he kind of looked at me and smiled and said, "Thank you, man."
You got to pull together in adversity. That's all there is to it, because there's going to be some.
Absolutely. Well, this is the sad day we heard recently, and I really hate that this happened, because this guy's one of my personal heroes. I mean, Darrell Waltrip's my hero, but this guy here, I mean, he appeared on my favorite TV show, The Dukes of Hazzard, and was just first car to do 200 miles an hour at Daytona. Just a great race car driver. Cale Yarborough passed away on us, and really hated that for him and his family. But he'd been ill. We knew he was having some problems, and we lost him. And I like I said, the coolest thing was when he was on the Dukes of Hazzard, and I've got a picture that my dad got for me when I was 13 years old for my birthday, and it says, "To Jimmy, happy birthday, Cale Yarborough." It's the Hardee's 28 car. It's one of my prized possessions because it was the coolest thing in the world when I was just a kid, and this man signed it for my birthday. It's personal, so it was pretty neat. But Cale, man, I'll tell you a funny story. When CBS first put the in-car cameras in the cars, they said they had this noise and they couldn't figure out what it was. They'd listen, you could hear the thing in there. When they finally figured it out, it was Cale going, and making noise of the car while he was driving the car. It was him making the racket. They couldn't figure out. They got Waddell in there listening. I don't know what that is, and they finally figured out that it was Cale.
Yeah.
So
well, after the results of one of the first televised races on TV, period, we found out that he was not too bad with his fists either.
No, he fought both the Allison brothers. 1979, one of the most famous NASCAR races in history. Actually put NASCAR on the map because the entire eastern seaboard was snowed in. Nobody could go anywhere. And it was the first live coverage of the Daytona 500, and it ended up beating and banging, wrecking, and in a fist fight. So, man, and the king wins the race. Yep. So, I mean, that dude, he's 83 wins. 3 championships in a row for Junior Johnson. So, I mean, what can you say about him? And Cale, we're going to miss you, buddy, and hope to get to see you again someday. I know he's probably sitting in a rocking chair with old Earnhardt and David Pearson. All of them are probably sitting together having a sweet tea and telling racing stories.
Yeah, and looking down the racing going, these guys would have never made it when we were racing.
Oh, no. No. You know something, a fact about Cale, but I never did. He never had a relief driver.
Really?
Ever in his career. He never got a relief driver. That's how tough he was. He said his neck would be all messed up, and he'd get in that car and he'd run the entire race. He would never ask for a relief driver.
Wow, that's tough.
He was tough. Darrell Waltrip said one time that they were at Darlington and Cale knocked Darrell out of the way for the lead, and Dale said they had a caution, and Darrell said, I pulled it next and looked over and did like that, and he said, Cale reached down and grabbed his gloves, pulled him up tight, looked at him, and pointed forward. He said, I knew I was in trouble.
Oh, boy. They didn't mind bending a little bit metal and swapping some paint to get the lead or whatever it took. They just did what had to be done and didn't complain when they got,
No, those cars back then, too, were real steel. They ain't like this flimsy crap they got nowadays. Them things had steel bumpers and everything else. The fenders were stock, just flared out, But rest in peace, Cale. we just wanted to mention that to our fans and let everybody know he's one of those guys that you really can't find fault with, like Richard Petty. If you don't like Richard Petty or Kelly Yarborough, there's something wrong with.
Yeah, so our thoughts and prayers are all out with our friends and our racing community, not only locally here, but with the family and friends of Cale Yarborough and the NASCAR community. It's a saddening announcement and a saddening news, but we just keep our family racing people together and continue on, and I know that's what they'd want us to do. So with that, we've got one more that's coming up, the Ice Bowl at Talladega Short Track this weekend, I believe.
Yes, this weekend, the 5th and the 6th. 10 o'clock Central Standard is when that's going to start.
I wonder if old Red Farmer's going to be there. He usually runs at the Ice Bowl.
Could be. Speaking of icons.
Yeah, speaking of Alabama gang, there he is. But the matriarch of the Alabama gang, or patriarch.
Patriarch, yes.
Yeah, I don't think it would actually be an Ice Bowl without him. At Talladega Short Track or even the dirt track at Charlotte. I mean, if you see Red Farmer or something's going on. Yeah. Isn't a wellness check for him?
Yep, but that'll be a good race. There'll be 4 cylinders. There's street stocks, you got pure stocks, you got late model 602, 604, super dirt late models. It's going to be a big show. If you can get up there and watch it, it's cold as I'll get out, and that's why they call it the Ice Bowl, but it's a great race.
And the way the weather's going right now, it could be an Ice Bowl up there too, no doubt. It's horrible right in this area. Bad.
I've never heard of it being the warm Ice Bowl before, so I always heard it's going to be cold. So, yeah, if you can get up Talladega Short Track, I got a buddy of mine I was talking to last night at Karting for Christ that he's thinking about going up there. So I said, man, good luck with that.
Yeah, let us know. And we will also have results of that coming up next week, that's for sure.
Lay her up.
Lay it up, yep. So, gentlemen, it is another Wednesday to us in the studio. With the updates, what we can gather, and some future races coming up. We can't wait for the season really to get started, kicking off with some of the bigger races, and we'll have more jargon to throw out from week to week as the season begins to continue.
It won't be long.
No, it won't be long at all.
No, we'll be going, what happened?
Yeah.
we thought we had a break.
Championship weekend, what?
What? Wait a minute. That's not right.
Going to be a good 2024. Happy New Year to everybody out there. We're going to be here. We're going to talk about short track racing. Share us with your friends. Make sure, you buy some merchandise from us. Check things out, and give us a good review if you can. Give us a 5-star wherever you're listening. Helps us move up the ranks. Even we moved up to number 4 in short track from number 6 to number 4. Let us help us get to number 1, and we appreciate all y'all listening.
Oh yeah, we love all of our listeners. We want to give you guys the best wishes for this coming up year. Hopefully, it's going to be better than the last year. It's like a lot of people say. I actually went to a New Year's party not to see 2024 come in, to see 2023 leave.
Yeah, well, hopefully this year will get much better in a lot of ways here in America.
Yeah.
Yep. So. Bigger and better things coming in 2024. Happy New Year, everybody. Thank you for listening. All your support means the world to us. Thank you, Story and Bleich, for all your support. Look for continued support in 2024. The Muffler Mafia, man, we miss you. We welcome you back here when the season gets started. Look forward to getting back and collaborate with you for the season. Miss talking about that Muffler Mafia, don't we?
Yeah.
So, got to have them back on board. And, McDonald's coming over, running with Jim and beating fenders back and forth to create some stories for us. And we look forward to it here in 2024. So thanks for being safe and thanks for listening. And, hey, Happy New Year to everybody. And we'll sign off with a
1,
2, 3.
Let's go, Brandon. Good night, everybody.
Be strong, America.
Thanks for listening.